We're going to start with our first speaker before I take too much of his time. Randy Cook has been with us from the first conference, and he represents NORM, N-O-R-M, National Organization for Raw Materials. And their great strength has to do with one of the, what I would regard as one of the mechanisms, what they regard as the mechanism for determining how much money should be in circulation. And that represents, well, he'll tell you how they define that.
Maybe I will and maybe I won't.
Maybe you won't. Then you can ask him in the question period.
That's right.
So, please welcome Mr. Randy Cook.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. As Stephen said, I'm Randy Cook. National Organization for Raw Materials is a group that's been in existence since 1936. At that time, it was called the Raw Materials National Council, was established in Sioux City, Iowa. Whole bunch of folks there that put it together. The primary outcome of that was an analysis of the United States economy that was extended all the way back into the 1800s, early 1800s, from the founding of the nation, really, and then brought forward as they worked on it continuously up until, well, today. I've been doing economic reports of the producers, which are colored books back there on one of the tables. Our analysis is unique. I have not seen it anywhere else. If somebody has seen this before, tell me about it, because we need to know those folks. My comments today are going to be a little bit off the standard presentation here. So, well, we'll just do it and see how it turns out here. At last year's conference on Sunday morning, was anybody here last year, Sunday morning? Okay. We were supposed to start discussing the actual content of the American Monetary Act, right? One of the first comments that came from right up here in the front row was, you cannot regulate the value of money, it can't be done. Did anybody hear that? Yeah. I don't even recall who said it. Bob, did you say that? Well, who all believes that? Is that a common belief here? Usually the assertion that you cannot regulate the value of money comes from a belief that free markets will determine proper values. This is not proven true in commodity markets. Anyone who's even a passing familiarity with the price of corn or wheat knows better. Market signals cannot proceed backwards in time. Ag production must be decided before and initiated before markets can even exist. You must have something to exchange before any exchanges can happen. This means the price of basic storable bulk commodities must be established before markets can function. The bulk of ag production, storable bulk commodities, meaning the production from the bulk of our acreage, is the fundamental new wealth, the income provided by natural universal providence. We translate that wealth into money through our price structure. Too low a price equals too low an income, and by today's practices, too much debt or inequity in the distribution of wealth and money. Too high a price on particular items equals too high an income for particular producers or distributors, again leading to inequity in the distribution of wealth and money. Parity pricing is the equity point for our entire economic structure. It provides the income required to exchange all our goods and services equitably. Through further study, if you care to pursue it, we can show that the gross income from the production of raw materials, which is agriculture, minerals, metals, fuels, recycling, sets the limit of the return on investment possible in our economy. Let me say that again. I can prove it to you. The gross income, gross raw materials income, sets the limit on the return on investment possible in our national economy. It's just another way of stating that it's equal to the savings rate from which investment must come. Now, I got called on that last year by Ken Palmerton. He subsequently proved my case and not his, but nonetheless. Through this narrow door here, this gross raw materials income, through the narrow door of gross raw materials income lies the straightforward method for regulating the value of money. Our labor, our raw materials combine to produce our standard of living, creating our income through our price structure. That's our provable position. It's not a theory. It's not a guess. The original analysis that established the raw materials economic approach forecast national income 6 months in advance of government figures, better than 1% accuracy for 14 years in a row. It was not guesswork. So we can show these things, and I've got all kinds of PowerPoints and graphs and charts, and I've written books, and Chuck Walters has written books for years trying to educate as many folks as have the courage to delve into the books. His Unforgiven book is back there as well. Best thing to do if you want to study this is start with that book. And then we got involved here with the American Monetary Institute, because all of the stuff that I've just talked about as far as income involves the price structure, which is measuring the value of our production in dollars, and it's a money problem. And we need sound money, we need solid money, we need useful money. And so we came here to this conference to add our effort, our knowledge, our experience to this effort. Here's what we've gotten so far. Here's the current text in the American Monetary Act regarding the Farm Parity Program. It's Section 504, if you want to look at it. It says, not later than 120 days from the effective date of this section, the Secretary, in cooperation with the Secretary of Agriculture, shall provide recommendations to Congress for a program of farm parity payments of United States money to family farmers in order to assure diversity of quality domestic food sources and products and maintain the socially beneficial existence of family farming operations within the United States. And in the little box in the side of it, it says, and Section 504 helps assure that small-scale family farming operations will continue into the future, helping farmers avoid losing their lands to financial operators and improving the U.S. food security situation. There's nothing in this language that shows any familiarity with what we have discovered and what we've documented for 70 years from our nation's economic record, nor in what Charles Walters and I have presented at this conference for the last 2 years. Here's our language. Section 504, Farming Parity Program. Not later than 60 days from the effective date of this legislation, the Secretary of Agriculture, in cooperation with the Secretary of the Treasury, shall propose to Congress a program to regulate domestic markets of farm commodities and interstate commerce in accordance with the current policy of Congress expressed at Title 7, Title 7 USC Section 602. You can look that up in your online United States Code references if you'd like. At minimum, that program shall provide, 1, establish a balanced parity base period as previously used for national income accounting, 1947 to 49 equals 100. 2, provide for parity loans for which the crop itself shall be the sole security in United States money on 8 basic storable commodities: corn, soybeans, wheat, oats, cotton, barley, sorghum, rice. The loan shall be at 90% parity, callable at a market price of 100% parity, not a date certain. 3, provide for parity tariffs on imported articles. This will provide the greatest protection possible for avoiding economic depression within the nation and assure national solvency. And our explanatory paragraph. Section 504 re-implements current law, 7 U.S.C. 602, stating the policy of Congress. That's still current law, by the way. That policy was used to avoid depression following World War II, provides for farmland preservation by farmers themselves, establishes practical national food security, and makes our entire economy work without the need for capital debt. This section regulates the value of United States money by metering into circulation the annually required new money in ratio to the bulk of annual new wealth produced. Parity prices are calculated monthly according to the costs of labor and capital in the whole economy, thus establishing and maintaining the required economic balance. Parity tariffs provide the purchasing power required by foreign nations to buy our excess production. That's our proposed substitute for the Section 504. Now, we must have a money system that works to the benefit of the inhabitants of our nation. Curiously enough, folks are still organized around the world into nations. Many of us may want that to change. It is the case today. The one we have, the money system we have, works to our demise. We must buy it back. What is buying back? Does anybody have a word for that? It's called redemption. Now, to avoid some perhaps confusing definitions with money folks, when they hear about redemption, it's usually a reclamation of debt instruments. I'm not sure I'd have a problem with that. We need to reclaim our money system so that it may benefit the inhabitants of the nation through improvement of the general welfare. This requires not only replacement or buying back of current money with United States money, it also includes cancellation of unjust and unconscionable debt. Usually this requires blood. Think of a time in history when it didn't require blood. I hope we can avoid that. We must ensure the safety of our beneficial money system so that our children may have the opportunity to improve on our work. This is called salvation. Greater safety is salvation. Redemption of our money is a first step. Arithmetic is the mother of safety. Our money system must be made safe by establishing controls for assuring and maintaining its purchasing power constant over time. This is most easily done through market regulation of basic raw materials commodities pricing being kept mathematically in balance with the prices of labor and interest in the rest of the economy based on the state of the arts of production and distribution. The efficiency and effectiveness of this method is evident in our nation's economic record for those who have the courage and freedom of thought for the investigation. We must establish our beneficial, constant time value money system on the strength of its equitability. This is affirmation. It is to make strong. Through redemption and salvation of our money system, the intelligence and strength of the people of the nation can be employed in furtherance of peaceful pursuits of technological development, providing an increase, which I heard said before, of leisure time. Leisure time allows for study, development of character, moral structure, spiritual refinement. Everyone deserves the very best of everything is the goal for our physical production and distribution. Now, from this moment forward, in this conference, let each of us focus our intent on the steps necessary to accomplish these goals. Further persuasion of one another on the necessities each of us might identify as critical to the rightness of our efforts is appropriate when time is available. Time is no longer available. We are now witnessing and by our inactivity participating in the final tragic transformation of our national economic structure from an equity-based people's capitalism to complete control by international finance debt capitalism. Should the Democratic Republic of the United States of America repudiate its heritage, who among the nations of the world will carry forward the cause of liberty? We either begin settling our national economic irrationality on the basis of equity, stability, and humaneness, or we default in our universal individual responsibilities, furthering our civilization's needless demise. There are just 2 generations between civilization and Stone Age existence. 2. Saying no more to the domestic and international debt mongers is not a discussion. It is a decision. Action is required immediately. Ben Bernanke, rhymes with wacky, is warming up the helicopters. We in this conference have a plan. We have a field of action. Let us begin our redemption, salvation, and affirmation of God's policy towards humanity. Redemption, salvation, affirmation. We will have United States money. Thank you.